Brian, obviously the kick return was a huge play in last week's game. Can you just break down what happened or what didn't happen, allowed that to happen in the game?
Yeah, obviously giving up an explosive kickoff return like that to start the second half is something that, is inexcusable and something we can't do. Giving up explosive plays, we need to limit the explosive plays and be able to generate explosive plays ourselves. In that return there, you know, there's really, as a whole this season, kickoff coverage wise, there's not a huge sample size. We've had 13 returns against us. 10 of those returns, we've done a really solid job of somebody winning to the kick side and then doing a great job of squeezing from the backside for people to show up to take the air away from the return. We've given up 3 explosive returns this season. The Texans game, we gave up one of over 40 yards where the ball popped out to the backside where we lost backside contain. That was a little bit different than the 2 big returns that we've given up most recently in the Titans and the Giants game. In that Texans game, we lost backside contain because Trevor Dimbo, who was our backside contain player, got wiped out by a dirty blindside block. And really, that return shouldn't have existed. Should have been a penalty right there if we keep backside contained. That ball would be tackled around the 25-yard line. The player who made that block and unfortunately ended Trevor Dimbo's season got uh, fined the next week. The past 2 weeks, the issue that we have had in the one that we gave up for 40 yards in the Titans game and the one we gave up for a touchdown here in this Giants game is we did not win. Somebody needs to win their one-on-one matchup to that kick side to be able to show up, and have to do a much better job of squeezing from the backside and then create some sort of levels to our coverage with having a safety be able to show up. We did not do a great job having a safety show up to those levels. We didn't squeeze enough from the backside to be able to take away that return lane. And they were able to hit the return lane, so wide to the alley between the numbers and the hash because Grant Stewart, who the ball ended up popping in his lane, was kind of tackled and knocked to the ground and then washed out of his lane. We got to be able to hold our lane. We got to be able to win a one-on-one matchup to that kick side. We've got to squeeze harder from the backside for somebody to show up to be able to make the play and execute better in that situation.
Joel.
When you look at your punt coverage this season, what sticks out?
Overall punt coverage, to me, overall as a punt team, we've been really solid on the punt team. Last year, we were top 10 in the NFL in net punt. To me, punt is the most important phase of special teams. It's the play that you can impact the most field position, and net is the most important thing that we want to be able to control and the thing that we look at. So the most important stat really for me in special teams is your net punt and your opponent net punt, and how can you control field position and do a really good job as a punt team and a punt return team. This year and last year, we're top 10 in the NFL in net punt. Last year, we tied the franchise record in net punt. This year, with 1 game to go, we're in position to be able to break that franchise record in net punt. And Rigo Sanchez, going into this last game, has the best punt average in franchise history for this season. So there's a lot of really positive things we have done. However, that gets overshadowed by us giving up 4 big returns, most notably 2 returns in the Broncos game. There isn't one specific issue that has showed up in, those 4 different returns that we've given up. We gave up a big return in the Jaguars game, in which we kind of outkicked our coverage in the middle of the field. Didn't do a great job on the left side of our coverage, being able to maintain or adjust off of punting the ball where we did to be able to keep leverage. After that game, we then changed the personnel on our punt team on that left side. Obviously, we're constantly trying to find ways. How do we put our guys in the best position to be successful and put them and find the best matchups or positions to be able to put guys in different places to be successful? And we have issues and different things. We're certainly going to adjust the personnel or the scheme to find the best way to be successful, which we did after that Jaguars game. In the Steelers game, we gave up a explosive return as well, where we outkicked the coverage in the middle field again and ended up missing some tackles. We had to do a better job coming to balance to be able to finish and make those tackles. And then we gave up 2 big returns in the Broncos game, which certainly hurt. And we have to do a better job there. Both of those were, again, slightly different. We were in position to be able to make plays on both of those big returns. Marvin Mims did a great job to be able to make some people miss. Both the gunners were there and in position to be able to make a play. And then once the ball ended up popping past the gunner in both instances, we need to do a better job of coming to balance on the 27-yard return. We had 2 of our left side coverage players had the ball pinned against the sideline. We got to come to balance, be able to make a tackle, not let that ball pop back out to the field. And the one that ended up going for 61 yards, both gunners are there in position to be able to make the play. We've got to be able to finish and make the play. Certainly, we missed Ashton Doolin in that game, and we're trying to find some different ways to manipulate our coverage to make up for that loss. And we got to do a better job of, next man up to be able to fill the big shoes that he has at gunner. Obviously, our gunners did not make the play on that 61-yard return. The ball ended up popping out on the right side of our coverage. We had two players that lost leverage on the right side of the coverage, which we can't allow to happen. We had to force that back inside so that can't end up, obviously going from a 10-yard return into a 61-yard return. And those are little things that, certainly we have to find a way to improve to not allow those big plays to happen. Because overall, we've been a top 10 punt team in the NFL the last 2 seasons, but that gets overshadowed by some really bad plays in some key games.
Do a couple more here, Nate.
Hey, Brian, how do you feel like Anthony Gould has grown during his rookie season, and what did he kind of show you, in that stretch, maybe behind the scenes when he wasn't the return man that gave you confidence to give that job back to him?
Yeah, I think he's really mature. I think he's a pro for a rookie that has stayed prepared and worked really hard all season long. And he's been ready for when his opportunity was called, and he's obviously improved throughout the year from the beginning of the year to now. He's been more aggressive. He's done a great job of making good decisions, securing the ball, and being able to get, positive return yards between him and Josh. We have a luxury that we've had 2 guys that we know and we can trust to secure the ball. And when there's opportunities there to be able to take advantage of those opportunities, which I think we've done a lot better job of since the first probably 2 games of the season. We're top 10 in the NFL in punt return average and in opponent net punt, which has a lot to do with those guys being able to get the ball vertical and get things started and doing a good job in the interior holdups of some different things and being able to apply some pressure to punters that then force them to get rid of the ball faster, which increases our probability to be able to get some return yards if the punter is able to get rid of the ball faster, most likely then with less hang time. Anthony really he was ready. He prepared every single week like he was going to be up for the game. And then, as he's gotten more and more opportunities, he's made great decisions. He's done exactly what we knew he was capable of doing, and generating some big returns and almost popping one in the Broncos game. But I think he's close, and we got to keep giving him opportunities as best we possibly can because I think he can certainly take one to the house.
And we'll do last question from Joel.
How do you view Matt Gay's season? He hasn't missed a kick inside 50, but he's got the 5 misses beyond that.
Yeah, Matt, certainly we did not start the season exactly the way that he wanted to. He ended up going on a stretch in the middle of the season that was much more the standard of what he was capable of doing. And then these last 2 games, we've ended up missing 2 from 50 plus. He's been 100% from inside 50 and 3 for 8 from 50 plus. That's certainly not the standard that he has for himself. To start the year, we were pulling the ball a little bit to the left, and now the last game we pushed the ball to the right. So it's not the exact same issue every single time. He's got a very talented leg. He's more than talented enough to be able to making those kicks from 50 plus. And, that's certainly what we expect him to do. We want to convert all of our scoring opportunities. So, we want to finish the season a little bit on a stronger note, making all of our kicks this week, and continue to push forward into next year, building off of some of that. But there's certainly been some highs and lows. I know that's a little bit of a clunky answer for you, Joel. We're not at the standard that we want to be, kicking over 90% of field goals.